Hi moms and dad, welcome to Baby Preemie World. This is episode 4 of my YouTube channel and boy am I excited to have you here. And if you are new joining in, I welcome you with open arms and mwah, kisses to you. Hey, if you want to become a regular customer, make sure to subscribe, hey? I kid you not, you have nothing to lose. I promise you, you're not going to lose your arm, nothing is going to happen to you, because over here we are all about learning from each other, especially as a community of moms and dad, and of course to make sure that we interact with each other. And the only way I can interact with you is, of course, if you comment and you like and you share and all those good things in between. This is not a haters club. This is a platform of learning from each other. And most importantly, as I like to say, knowledge is power. Alright, so for today's topic, I'm absolutely excited to be sharing with you this content, and I do hope that you're going to learn a thing or two. So we are going to be talking all things playtime with your baby. But first thing first, before we tap into more details, we need to know what is playtime. Now, playtime basically is an essential part of all infants. In fact, this is a process where your baby actually learns how to communicate, how to socialize, and most importantly, how to understand their surroundings. Now, from as early as your baby is born, it is important that you as a parent actually learn how to interact with your baby. And of course, it doesn't have to be complex. You can actually utilize some of the most basic things in terms of interacting with your baby. I'm going to share with you 3 things, and these 3 things include the following. Number 1 is what we call touching. Now, touching is an essential part of interacting with your baby. In fact, many pediatricians has recommended on a regular basis that you learn to have skin to skin with your baby. Now, I remember the time when I had given birth, seeing that I had given birth prematurely, I had done what we call skin to skin interaction. So basically, this is a process where I expose my chest and basically I just hold my baby close to me, and basically it's just a process of bonding with your baby, especially because I never really got an opportunity to breastfeed. So this was one of my forms of bonding with my baby. And number 2 is what we call your baby just actually hearing your voice. It is absolutely important that your baby actually understands, or rather knows, that this is mama and this is daddy. And as most of you guys would obviously know, that babies actually have the ability to recognize mom and dad's voice in as early as when your baby is still in your womb, That is why many doctors will actually recommend you as a mom to be, even as a dad to be, to actually talk to your child, And one of the simplest thing also is to stroke on your tummy, As you do that, you actually are interacting with your baby, and that's a form of communication. And what you will get is sometimes your baby will actually respond to you by kicking while they're still in your tummy. And of course, number 3 is what we call your expression in terms of your sight, how you look like, your face rather, if I can call it like that. So obviously, the more your baby sees you, they get accustomed to your features and how does mama look and how does daddy look. So the more they get to see you, the more they get to really just know that this is my mom and this is my dad. Obviously, a baby's vision, as they are born, by that time is not necessarily 100% accurate, but the older they get, the more they are more accustomed to this is how my mom looks like and this is how my dad looks like. Now, I hope that those 3 tips were actually something that you can relate to, or if not relate to, hopefully you could have learned something from it. Before I go into deeper details, there's also what we call a rooting reflex. Now, a rooting reflex is basically a process that is meant to help your newborn baby. It actually ensures them for survival mode, and it actually also helps them in terms of interacting within their surroundings, Another important thing about reflex rooting, or rather rooting reflex, sorry, is that one of the basic examples that you can do is to actually stroke your baby's cheek. Now, the process of this, as you stroke your baby's cheek, depending on whether you do it on their right-hand side or on the left-hand side, your baby is ultimately going to respond to you by actually looking at the side that you were stroking, based on which side you were stroking on their cheek. So they'll most likely respond to you by looking towards you, and through that, that's a form of response. And the moment they respond to you, the moment it's called interaction. So that whole process, the fact that you are stroking and they are looking towards you and they respond, that on its own is an interaction process, and it's an engaging process. Now, obviously, there are also some very simple, basic playtime activities that you can always incorporate any time of the day, anywhere. It's just a matter of just doing it on a regular basis, you know. In fact, you can even do it as early as when your baby is born. In other words, your baby being a newborn, you know. I know for a fact that I've tried these activities and they've absolutely worked. It has improved my bond with my baby without a doubt. And the purpose of these activities also is to help with stimulation. It is to also encourage your baby's creativity. And most importantly also, it is to help your baby to learn in terms of how to respond appropriately to negative and of course positive emotions. So I'm going to share with you those 5 basic activities that you can implement with your baby. Number 1. All right, so there's what we call facial expression playtime. Now, I absolutely loved playing with my face. I remember how I would often just make funny expressions. I kid you not, my baby would giggle. And that's the whole idea, you know. I think as a mom, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your baby is happy, you know. And there's nothing more heartwarming just seeing your baby just laugh at your silliness. And I don't mind showing all these weird facial expressions as long as my baby is happy. That's what's important ultimately. Number 2 is what we call singing. I know not everybody is gifted with singing. I know for a fact I'm not Beyonce. But give me baby one more time. Yeah, I try. That doesn't really matter. What's important is that my baby is happy, you know. The fact that my baby is listening to my voice, it absolutely warms her heart, because already I can see from the way she responds to me, she laughs, you know. That's ultimately the important thing. You want to find yourself in a space whereby when you do something, you reciprocate information from your baby. And either your baby is going to giggle or is going to give you the most gorgeous smile. So that's the idea of it, just interacting with your baby at the end of the day. And number 3 is, of course, dancing. We wanna dance. Okay, I'm not much of a good dancer also, but anyways, just dance for your baby. As long as your baby is smiling, that's what's important. Another form of great interaction. I know for a fact baby Timo just loved it when I danced. I remember how I would just put up the volume up, you know, and just move my body, you know. And obviously, she would just kick those small legs, you know. That's a form of her responding. She's basically telling me, Mama, keep dancing more, you know. And that's just so exciting. So that's the idea of interaction, you know. Do the most simplest basic things that you could ever do in terms of interacting with your baby. And number 4 is, of course, reading. And I know, parents, you might just ask yourself, but my baby is small. How are they going to even understand what I'm saying? But that's not the point. The point is that as you read to them, it does somehow promote calmness, you know. And most importantly, we all know that literacy is very important. And it has been encouraged numerous of times by specialists that you need to teach your baby how to read from an early age, you know. So I think me just introducing just a book to my baby it really just enlightens them to the world of reading, you know. It introduces them to the world of reading, you know. So obviously, I mean, as a parent, you would be able to have an idea what kind of books would be suitable for your baby. And I mean, initially there is kids books, so you can find them in many stores, if I can say the least. And lastly but not least, number 5 is of course incorporating rather toys. Obviously, as you can see, I've displayed a couple of toys here. Now, toys sometimes can be a little bit complex, but in a sense, I think it's important that the type of toy that you choose for your baby needs to accommodate the developmental stage your baby is at. So obviously, as a parent, you need to be clued up in terms of which toy will suit, for example, my 1-month-old baby, or for example, my 6-month-old baby. So every toy is designed for a specific developmental stage. And if you ask me, I'm not an expert, I'm just an ordinary mom, and can I tell you, Google was my best friend, literally, you know. So you just Google and you just look in terms of what are some of the toys that can actually go with the different stages that your baby is experiencing. Now, there you have it, folks. I hope that you have learned from this. I am absolutely looking forward to hear some of your comments. Hey, I really want to engage with you. As I said from the beginning, that if you want to interact with me, the right way, of course, is to comment, is to like, is to share, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is a community where we learn from each other as parents. I tell you, if you want to actually become successful in life, you got to work together. And this is one of those greatest platforms, you know. This is a platform for us parents to work together, learn from each other, and just literally just grow this community. Look, I started small, but the idea is to grow big. So I look forward to growing with you guys, and thank you so much for your love and support. It does not go unnoticed whatsoever. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this topic, and please constantly tell me what are some of the topics that you'd like me to tap into. I'd like to actually bring in some new fresh content so that we can absolutely learn from each other. Until next time, it's all loves and of course, mwah, kisses. Guys, I love you. Bye.